was growing up in our communities, who really taught black boys to have standards for himself? High standards.
Nobody.
Who taught? Nobody taught.
Let me talk about me. When I was coming up, the black church was still in a strong position in the black community. It was still in a strong community, but then the crack came about 83, 84. That was it, man. That was like the atom bomb. Bam! Right.
Yeah, just think though, Brother Clarence, who's structuring most of us as young men growing into men to have standards and high standards for ourselves? Because remember, we create the standards for the community. Most of us don't have high standards for ourselves.
I'm gonna tell you who's doing it now. The rappers are doing it now. Because you can't get to the preacher, right? You can't get into T.P. Jake's church. You can't get into Creflo Dollar's church. You ain't bringing in enough money. So you ain't gonna let them young brothers up in there and take over the whole front row. Maybe one day a year, but they're not gonna do that every day, right? So who's teaching our young brothers? The Dr. Dre, Tupac, all these different people. There was a sister, C. Dolores Tucker. There was a sister named C. Dolores Tucker. She came out in the 1990s, and she came out and she said, if you guys keep calling women hoes and bees on these records, our community is going to go down the drain. She said,
I hated her back then. Boy, was I wrong.
But she was right.
She was absolutely right.
Absolutely right.
I hated her back then because I was ignorant and didn't know no better.
We hate, Brother George, you see where I'm coming from. We hated her. But if you look at what she said, she was right on point.
And she was from Philly, by the way.
I have a question, and I'm going to let one community come on too, but I have a question because C. Dolores Tucker, and I remember back in the day where she had all Tupac's CDs and was stumping it on the ground and breaking it, and he had a diss track about it. So I remember all that. And then a day she's right. And looking at BET Uncut and the women, Nelly with the credit card and the butt, so all of this, right? Depicting black women. And then now, of course, you see it's on 10 times fold when you see the Meg Thee Stallions and the Cardi B's.
Yeah.
Why isn't that not talked about?
Maxine Water came on and said that song WAP was show strength in women.
Yeah, we celebrate WAP. We celebrate the slut walk.
I'm sorry, Court.
Well, this is my question because we talk about, especially with men in this sphere, the color purpling, right? And how media looked at and turned our black men into abusive black men and, weren't no good. And then, I even said it before on the show with Waiting to Exhale and expecting my man to either leave me for a white woman or throw oranges on me at my apartment. So I understand that, but we never talk about the depiction of black women and how disgusting we were made to look on videos and movies and BET Uncut, where Jill Scott, I remember they boycotted this at Spelman in Atlanta, and Nelly wanted to come down there, and they was like, no, you have us looking like tricks, hoes, and sluts. You can't come down here.
And you too.
Don't forget Uncle Luke. Don't forget Uncle Luke.
You can't find no other women that's out there.
We had fun with Uncle Luke back in the day.
You can't find no women. You can't find white women. You can't find white women. You can't find Jewish women. You can't find no other women that are out there put in that position other than only us. And YouTube plays it and makes money off of it.
Now we have the world star. So it's always.
There you go. There's another one.
It's black women and black women. The most vile, the most degrading, the most disgusting things that we do, it's celebrated.
Yeah.
Well, you remember, Courtney, back in '93, the black man was considered public enemy number one. He was America's nightmare. He was menace to society. Remember Old Dog and all that. And at that time, the black woman was like the greatest thing to the black community. She was the one that held everything together. She was the Aunt Viv. She was all of those things, right? But see, they do.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
Hold on, let me finish. Let me
and I want to get one community.
I know where you're gonna go. I know where you're going with it, but
they was calling black women welfare queens at that time.
Hold on, but I'm gonna say
we're getting hit bad too.
Yeah, but I want to break down the illusion of what they did because I understand what you're saying. this is what they did to us, though. What they did to us, they showed us Old Dog, and they gave us shows like I'm Vid. They gave us the Cosby Show, and they depicted black women in this light where we knew that that's not what it was, but they were showing her as the one that was holding it down. So now we're in this illusion of inclusion, and we think that this thing is going the way it's going this way, but it wasn't. Over time, you start to see them now depict the black woman and condition her to depict herself that way too, the same way we did. So now we're in the pot together. So now she's calling herself a savage and everything. So, and then we were calling them that because the men set the standards for the community. We called them that so much that they start to call it themselves. It's kind of like when they was calling us nigga, we start calling ourselves nigga and using words of endearment. So I understand what my brother Omawale is saying, but on TV in the conditioning, while that was going on, they was giving us all these different shows, and this is what we was watching.
Bro, hold on one second. I know you want to go to the new guy. I'm sorry, I don't want to call you.
I do, but I want to talk about this comment as well too.
Okay, go ahead, Court. It's your show. It's your show.
that is a fact. Y'all see the gap. Okay, so this guy, and I get tired of this because I hear it a lot too, and it's like it's y'all's turn to be looked bad and for us to talk bad about you. It's y'all didn't care when Color Purple, Waiting to Exhale, etc. Was going around. What goes around comes around. Black women has had black men looking bad in the media for 50 years, exclamation points and all that. Was it us?
No.
Did we control the media?
Did we?
So what media institution did black women own?
Well, I tell you, these dudes, man.
Who are the directors of these movies?
And that's why I said
They take a feminist black woman. They take a feminist black woman,
right?
They
Alice
use
Walker,
her, and they use her.
That's a fact.
But that guy speak like he know all black women, though. He speaks like he know all the black women in the country.
That's a fact, because every black woman is not a feminist, and every black woman did not work with these racial institutions that were shitting on black men. But to the point, George, I just want to push back on your point just a little bit, because you have to remember when you talk about iconography and images, bro, the 80s, you couldn't find one late night news special without the crack mom and the crack baby.
I agree.
Right? Black women were the welfare queen. They were the crack whore. If you talk about the 70s, blaxploitation, black women were the hoe. You know, they were the conniving hoe. You understand what I'm saying? So if you look at like the images that black women got, it wasn't all peaches.
No, I agree, but it was two sides of the coin that we was playing, because she was also Big Mama at the same time. So they was playing a mind game. They looked at the black man.
We also had Bill Cosby at the same time, right?
Yeah, we did, but for the most part, we was depicted as something that's they had us as it's the illusion of inclusion. It's the mind game that they play on us. That's why we're in a gender war now. That's why that comment is being made. Well, while we was being beat up, y'all was taking advantage of us.
Right.
No, they wasn't.
And it is a narrative that I am completely tired of hearing, and I want to address. And I'm glad these comments are coming up, because here we go, Slam, and I put you the long way, Slam, for sure. But did black women boycott Color Purple? Did black men?
No, black men did. Black men did go out. You had what's the elder's name? They all Huey P. Newton, Jawanza, and there's another elder. I can't think of his name right now, but they were hot over the culture, and they were on national TV speaking out against it. Yeah,
right. And just like black women were hot with the tip drills and things like that. You can't have tip drill video if the women didn't participate. Well, you can't have the Color Purple without Mr. participating. So we can't keep doing this back and forth.
We have to understand. We've all been complicit in this.
What you're
we
saying right
all
now,
have a role in this, and it's not that black women has shitted on black men for 50 years. You shitted on yourselves too.
We sure
Look
did.
at Menace to Society.
And you didn't have to fly to Dubai to do it.
Right, you didn't have to fly to Dubai and get paid to get shitted on the press. You didn't have to do that.
Understand this.
We have new guests on the panel.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. Come on, people.
We got new guests.
Y'all done got me all in my, because I get tired of that. But what's going on, community? How are you? Thank you for your patience.
Y'all can hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, peace, man. I love the build. Salute to you, Courtney. Salute to everybody on the panel. I think you're all making very valid points. Mod speaks. George, I was on the panel with you before as well. I think I made a lot of points, man. I think I jotted a couple of things down though. As far as the black women and things like that, and when we're talking about the BETs and all these things like that, you got to understand that these things are systematic. You know what I mean? Especially when we come from something like Sarah Bartman and we understand how they depicted what they wanted the black woman to be represented as. So we might be sticking on the old dog and sticking on all of this, but it's before all of that. You know what I'm saying? This is systematic. Those things are byproducts of that thing. You see what I'm saying? So we could get caught up in the middle of this new stuff, but everything is based on things that happened before. Civilizations are built on civilizations before. Nobody comes up and say, hey, we're going to build a kingdom. No, after Egypt, there's Rome. Then here comes America. America's like a byproduct of Rome. That's why we see a lot of things and way the systems, and even with sexuality and the things that they're doing here, it's a byproduct of Rome. So we have to understand that first and foremost, right? So now when we go into even like the Tupac thing, right, with Dolores Tucker, because Brother Clarence, before he left, he made a good point with Dolores Tucker, right? And you were saying like, damn, what you were saying kind of was true. And it's crazy. Even at that time period, we may not even think about it, but when we think about Tupac's reaction to that, Tupac said Dolores Tucker used a mother instead of trying to help her, and you just destroy your brother. Worse than the others, Bill Clinton, Mr. Bob Dole, you too old. He said you was too old to understand the way the game goes.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? So when you think about it, though, but it was really kind of true, though, because systematically it did start to do what we have right now. When we look at the music, we look at the culture of the music and whatever it is, because we know that all of that rap and all those things wasn't built on that. It was really talking about the times, talking about our plights and different things like that, especially socially. It was talking a lot about those things too as well, right? And when we think about like it's in a man's nature, you know what I'm saying, for him to like have women or whatever a man's nature is, I believe that it's also in a man's nature to lift up the woman. So that's a lot of the things that's missing, So when you get back into like Comedicism or things like that, you go into like Ma'at. And when you go into stuff, you talk about the balance of the man and the woman. You know what I'm saying? Even the Egyptians drew them in size, showing the balance in between a man and a woman. So when we talk about the patriarchy of the US and things like that, and we talk about these systems, we need to get more back to a matriarchy. People think that no, we can, or no, we don't, but this is more of a system. We come from a system of the mother. We represent our mothers. Our mother is our actual first guide that we look to. You know what I mean? It's our mom. You know what I mean? Whether you have your dad or not, your mom is your mom. You know what I mean? So I think that it comes down to that, us lifting up the women and getting our women to feel safe and our children, because there's no kingdom in history that was ever built that did not secure the women and the children. So when we get our women and our children secure, then maybe we could feel a little more secure. You know what I'm saying? Especially how we courting women. I heard y'all talking about courting and things like that. How do we talk with women when we meet them in the streets, especially our younger people? Because some old people need to stop the bullshit. But you know what I'm saying? But it's for our younger people. You know what I'm saying? Like how y'all courting, how y'all meeting girls, how y'all talk, how you meeting guys and things like that. I think we need to get more on top of those things. I was even on panels where they was talking about bringing back shotgun weddings and stuff like that. Like, nah, man, if you get something pregnant now, son, you're gonna have to be in there for 5 years or something over there. You're gonna have to hold it down and things like that. But I think we just need to keep continuing bills like this and bringing our minds together. And I think a lot of things will change. Salute to y'all.
Yeah, thank you. One community just came and dropped the mic. I feel